So, but then also it's again like beer foundation, then you have this layer on top.
안녕하세요 여러분, 혜미니온느입니다. 오늘은 벨기에에서 온 4가지 맥주를 테이스팅 해볼 텐데요. 오늘은 특별히 벨기에에서 온 제 친구가 비어를 하나씩 소개해 줄 거고 같이 짧게 테이스팅 해보도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 저랑 같이 한번 가보실까요? 고고!
Okay. Hi. So today we have 4 beers. We have a Gueuze, which is a mix of 2 or 3 different lambic beers. We have a fruity beer, Kasteel Rouge. So it's a cherry beer. Then we have a triple ale from Belgium, brewed by monks. And then we have to end here a very what we call Hopus. It's a strong ale, resembles a little bit like an IPA, but a bit softer than that. So those are the 4 that we will try today.
Great. So shall we light up there?
Yes. So lambic beer can be very fizzy. That's also why you see so much foam on top, but it's not really long-lasting foam, so it will go away quite quickly. It is quite sour, also with the special fermentation process they use. It uses natural yeast, so it's not yeast that's added by the brewer. It's just open air cuvées that then use whatever yeast is in the air, microorganisms that are in the area, and that's why it gets a very typical flavor and scent of that area. And it's a very specific area within Belgium of a few square kilometers that can brew this type of beer.
So may I taste it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're usually aged. They mix different beers, so they have lambic beers is what they use, and this is special in terms of beers because beers are usually one cuvée, 1 year, very like the same flavor every year, every batch. These can differ significantly between batches, between years, because they combine different ones, and because they depend on the microorganisms of the environment. It might just be a different flavor every year. So it's much more in the way they make it. It resembles a bit winemaking, champagne making, but then with a starting from beer. So.
람빅 비어라고 하는데 굉장히 샴페인하고 비슷하게 만들어지는 아이예요. 그래서 퀴베를 여러 해에 걸쳐서 섞어서 만들고 람빅이라고 하는 아주 독특한 그 지역에서만 나는 이스트를 사용했기 때문에 뭐랄까 약간 화이트 식초 같은 맛이랑 좀 아주 오래된 샴페인이 섞인 것 같은 콤부차 같은 향이 같이 나서 굉장히 뭔가 클렌저 같은 느낌을 많이 주고 그런 저희가 평소에 생각하는 그 라거비어 같은 뉘앙스는 전혀 없는 되게 샴페인, 올드 샴페인스러운 맥주라고 생각하시면 되겠습니다. 아주 리프레싱하고 좋으네요.
Want me to start or are you
Yeah.
starting? Okay, I started. So our next beer is Hopus.
Hopus?
That's the
Okay,
left
this
one there. So that's the second one we'll try. Yeah. So it's a strong beer, famous for being very hoppy, not as aggressive as an IPA, but in terms of Belgian beer that can be quite strong, quite sweet, quite heavy. This one is a little bit more fresh and hoppy in the flavor. So.
But the alcohol is like 8%.
Yeah, the alcohol is 8.3%. It's still a Belgian beer, so it's quite strong, quite full. But compared to, like, for example, the triple that we would try next, this is going to be much more hop forward. You'll also hear it when we open it.
Yeah, let's open it.
Oh. It's a little bit much now. There you go already. It's not very transparent. It's also typical for Hopus. Oh.
Yeah.
So there's still some fermentation in the bottle. So you have some yeast that are in there. So if you let it rest for longer,
Oh, so
it will
like
have a different
aging?
flavor. You could age it. So one that's a month old or one that's 6 months old will have a different flavor.
Oh, like
And
wine.
you can also adjust the flavor a bit because most of the yeast typically sits at the bottom of the bottle.
So you
So you can, depends if you want to mix it, or you can, for example, just pour out half of it and then pour the second half. It would have a different flavor depending on which half you're
That's what we
drinking.
do in like with makgeolli as well. It's like very like flowery,
That's
like
the hop that you're
floral.
smelling.
It's so good. But the palate is just different.
The palate is very different, but the smell that you have, that fruity smell, that's the hop that you're smelling.
It's like honeysuckle, like.
Yeah.
I think Maya would love this like nose.
Yes, hurry up so I can drink some.
두 번째로 마셔보는 허프스는 홉이 가진 특징이 굉장히 마음에 드는 아이인데 여기 안에 이스트가 들어서 맥주인데도 한 6개월 정도 숙성을 시키면 맛이 달라지는 와인과 굉장히 비슷한 스타일의 맥주이고요. 우리가 막걸리에서 하듯이 그 밑에 깔아앉은 애들을 섞냐 아니면 위에 하얀 부분만 먹냐를 사람들의 기호에 맞춰서 선택할 수 있다고 합니다. 저는 지금 딱 향에서 맡았을 때는 완전 허니서클, 막 허니듀 이런 향이랑 굉장히 하얀 그러니까 플로럴한 향들이 많이 나는데 팔레트에서는 조금 쓴 약간 그 허브 향 같은 게 굉장히 많이 나는 그런 아이라서 노즈랑 팔레트가 굉장히 다른 모습을 보여주면서 리듬을 만들어내는 굉장히 재미있는 맥주인 것 같아요. 저는 너무너무 마음에 들어요. I really like it. I love it. Yeah.
Both as well?
Yeah.
Okay. So the next one we're gonna drink is Orval.
Orval?
Orval is a Trappist beer.
Yeah, Trappist.
Which means that it's brewed by monks. I think there's only about 12 of those in the world, most of which are from Belgium, the Netherlands, or I think one of them is in France. So it's quite special. It's also a triple, which means it's been triple fermented. Most of them are one or double fermentation.
So like process
So,
wise,
so they added some sugar as well to restart the fermentation, which typically results in a stronger beer in terms of alcohol, but also in terms of flavor. It becomes
like layered?
more layered, more heavy, more full, like full bodied.
Yeah.
So this one is one of the typical Trappist, like the more famous ones.
Yeah, let's try this one.
So let's get to it.
It's very like 엄청 엠버 색깔이 나네요.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's like beer smell.
It's a real beer smell. So this is
Yeah.
what you think of as a real
Beer,
strong beer.
yeah.
It has the original heaviness of a beer, the darker color, full bodiness. That's what you would typically eat, like in an evening afternoon when it's cold and rainy outside. You
Yeah.
taste the cheese and like meats and that type of stuff.
It's more like bluesy, like
yeah. It's not something you would drink as an appetizer. It's really something that, as an afternoon break, you could do.
yeah. I just feel the like density, like
Yeah.
I mean it's clear, but also like kind of like stickiness. How to say it? Like dense.
It's thicker and
Yeah, thicker.
yeah. Especially compared to the last ones, which are very carbonated. This one is also less carbonated.
It's less carbonated.
Yeah.
이 비어는 아주 독특한 게 수도원에서 만들어졌는데 지금 전 세계에서 한 12곳 정도밖에 만들지 않는다고요. 대부분은 네덜란드나 벨기에, 한 곳 정도가 프랑스에 있는 것 같은데 아주 특별하게 이게 트라피스트 비어라고 해서 3번 프로세싱해서 만들어지는 비어이고 지금 오늘 마시는 아이들 중에서는 가장 풀바디인 아이인데 확실히 질감이 훨씬 더 두텁고 좀 뭐랄까 찐득찐득하다고 해야 되나? 그러면서도 끝맛은 굉장히 깔끔하고 클리어한 느낌이 있어요. 얘는 딱 향을 맡았을 때는 우리가 생각하는 그런 홉의 향이 확 나는 그런 전통적인 좀 강렬한 남성스러운 비어이고 막 이렇게 밝은 날 먹는다기보다는 주말에 비 올 때 한 3, 4시쯤 먹으면 아주 좋을 것 같은 아이예요. 확실히 탄산도 좀 적어서 저처럼 탄산을 센 걸 먹으면 딸꾹질을 바로 하는 사람들한테는 훨씬 더 좋은 아이이고 확실히 타격감이 지금 있거든요. 그래서 좀 무겁고 풀바디의 맥주를 좋아하시는 분들께는 너무너무 추천드리고 싶은 와인입니다. 와인이래. 맥주입니다.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So the next beer we have is a fruity beer. You can also call it a cherry beer. It's Kasteel Rouge, which is beer. So they start with Kasteel beer, which is also regular beer you could buy by itself. But then there's also cherries added to it, which gives it a more fruity flavor, more accessible for a lot of people. It's also eaten a lot more as you could drink it as dessert or as an afterwards because it's much sweeter. Also makes it more accessible often with women that find this much easier and more accessible to drink. So with that, I'll open that one up.
Yeah. It's a beautiful color. I love the hue. 뭔가 콜라랑 와인을 섞은 것 같은 그런 색깔이죠.
Yeah, it's a cherry. It smells really strong of cherry.
Yeah, there you go. 체리 비어 드셔본 적 있으신가요? 이게 되게 독특한 와인인데 맥주에 체리를 홀 체리를 세니에 방식으로 스킨 컨택을 해서 만들 수도 있고 아니면 체리 주스를 넣어서 만들 수도 있는데 확실히 노즈에서는 그 체리 캔디 같은 향이 확 나기 때문에 평소에 이런 강한 맥주들을 싫어하시는 여성분들께는 굉장히 좋은 선택이 될 수 있을 것 같고 비어랑 체리가 잘 안 어울린다고 생각하실 수도 있는데 요 정도의 비율이면은 뭐랄까 사탕을 먹으면서 약간 캔디를 먹으면서 맥주를 같이 먹는 것 같은 느낌이 되기 때문에 그냥 아무 안주 없이 맥주만 마시고 싶을 때 너무너무 좋기도 하고요. 또 코스 중간에 클렌저로 쓰기도 너무 괜찮은 그런 와인입니다. 칵테일 대신에 마시기도 너무 괜찮고 뭔가 체리 코크의 굉장히 상이호환 버전의 맥주라고 생각해 주시면 되겠습니다. 저는 이거 가끔씩 생각이 나더라고요. 제가 다른 종류의 체리 비어를 마셔보고 너무 맛있다고 빈센한테 사진 찍어서 보냈는데 그럼 내가 다른 종류의 체리 비어도 가져와 볼게 라고 해서 오늘 가져온 와인인데 저는 개인적으로 얘가 조금 더 맥주 같은 것 같아요. 제가 저번에 마셨던 체리 비어는 조금 더 체리에 가까웠거든요. 근데 저는 이런 맥주가 딱 파운데이션을 잡아주면서 온탑에 체리가 들어가는 이런 스타일의 표현이 조금 더 좋은 것 같습니다.
That's a hard. I would put the Gueuze first. It's not a
This
beer
one?
for always. So my ranking would be this one first. Just more for the uniqueness.
For me, it's like more like champagne,
Yeah.
champagne style.
It's different beers for different occasions. That's it. Like this one. Out of these three, if I were in a cafe and I'd order something to drink and just talk with friends, I'd go with this one.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
I would take this
Without
one.
food.
Yeah, without food or like with a cheese splatter or something.
Yeah.
This one in summer because it's more refreshing. It's more summery for me.
I got it, yeah. Yeah, makes sense.
And this one for me is more of a. If I have an evening with friends and I'm drinking multiple things, I would take this one as a break. It's kind of more different than the other beers. It's kind of,
Like awakening.
Exactly. So it kind of changes your palate a bit. That's why all four of them for me have their place, and that's why I brought you all four as well. Kind of have the diversity of
So how much are they?
these beers.
Yeah.
1-2 euros a bottle.
1-2 euros.
Yeah,
So cheap.
it's beer.
오늘 이렇게 재밌게 4가지 맥주 테이스팅 해봤는데요. 여러분들이 재밌으시다면 다음 맥주 컨텐츠는 아마 벨기에에서 찍게 될 수도 있을 것 같고요. 특히 한국에서 맛보기 어려운 독특한 맥주들을 마셔봤는데 어떤 것들은 와인과 양조 방법이 굉장히 비슷하기도 해서 레이어가 있기도 하고 그런 버블감도 좀 비슷해서 저는 굉장히 재밌었습니다. 같이 지켜보는 친구들도 지금 맥주 테이스팅 하려고 전부 다 기다리고 있는데요. 저도 빨리 영상 마치고 같이 수영하면서 맥주를 끝내도록 하겠습니다. 그럼 저는 다음에 더 재밌고 상상하지 못한 컨텐츠로 돌아오겠습니다. 그럼 여러분 다음에 또 만나요. 안녕. Say 안녕.
안녕.
안녕.